I'm sorry about all my bad picks and information.
Ooh,
This tournament's just killing me.
crazy.
I don't know about that. I'm about to look over our combined picks publicly. Who knows what picks you made privately? But I think publicly we're all doing pretty decently. I mean, who could have thought Kentucky was going to lose to St. Peter's?
No, what? Nobody
Well,
thought that,
you
Rob.
two
You know
guys-
what? I told you they weren't that good. Some of the overrated teams, Kentucky was one of them. Them, Duke, Connecticut. I mean, two of them are out. Notre Dame won again tonight, by the way.
Yeah, I think we were on board with that pick.
Mhm,
Yeah. Mhm.
mhm.
Right.
And we got our Loyola pick wrong. I was concerned about that game without Krutwig and the coach.
You know what? You know
How about
what I've
Iowa
heard?
losing?
This is what I've heard. I heard Florida is heavily recruiting Anthony Grant from Dayton, but I don't know if Anthony Grant will leave because he had some failure in that same conference with Alabama. Although Florida is probably a better place to recruit than Alabama.
And is
Right.
the Pac-12 in trouble? I mean, USC lost. I'm surprised. I
Yeah,
thought
I'm
they were
not,
going
Rob.
to
I
win, and
told you
UCLA
Miami.
struggled.
I said Miami. And you know what? The reason
You
I
did.
figured it in a way is what Anthony said. Just because we had a good run with the Pac-12 last year doesn't mean we're gonna. And UCLA almost got wiped out last night. That was horrible. You know what though? Like you always say, Ant, just survive and move on because they couldn't make a basket if their life depended on it, but they found a way in the end. And I know you texted me last night, oh boy, are we in trouble, with our pick. But they found a way through and they finally get that big three at the end. So that was big.
Well, overall, our
Mhm.
public bracket is looking pretty decent. I mean, we're still okay, I think.
Did you actually write some of it down, Rob? Or did you watch
I actually uploaded, if anyone wants to look at our individual pick that we picked on the air, on
Right.
the video, on the selection show we just did,
Right.
the links to the Instagram photos of our individual brackets are there.
it? Okay.
You know,
And-
guys, I'm starting to enjoy this a little bit. I might take over here, except for Rob.
I mean, Tony, we want you to be a co-host. So, I mean,
We really
obviously
do.
you have an open invite anytime you want. I mean,
Oh, okay, but I don't want to ruin your show either.
You're not ruining the show.
You know what?
no, I think it's the opposite. I think it's a supplement to the show and enhances the
Right.
show.
Right.
You
We
know
both
what?
agree with that.
Self-denigration aside.
Calipari might get fired from this.
Yeah, didn't I text you that? You know what? How could you look, you text me, well, they got a great center. And I go, yeah, but they got a coach that's not that great.
Yeah, but-
And you know what? This loss, how can you lose this
Well,
in
I
the
think there would
first?
have been only one thing worse than that. If they went on to play Murray State, who I picked,
Right.
to win, and Murray State is from Kentucky. And
Right. Oh, yeah, right.
if they would have lost to Murray State, yeah, he might have been coaching at Murray State next year. And Murray State coach may have been coaching at Kentucky
Well,
or Louisville. Yeah.
somebody may, because that loss is that's inexcusable. That's as bad as UCLA when they lost to Princeton in '96 after they won the national title in the first round.
How about when your boy Lavin lost to Detroit Mercy in the first round?
Oh, yeah, right. Right. That was horrible.
Yeah.
That was, and you know what, Calipari? Hey, Rob, I don't know if you remember when Davis was on Kentucky, was Booker on that team as well?
I don't
Devin
know.
Booker?
All I know is, I believe Kentucky has had top 5 recruiting classes pretty much every year he's been there.
Every
and
year.
It took the supreme generational talent to get over the edge.
That's
So
right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired. I mean, they've flamed out over. When's the last time Kentucky was in the Final Four?
Well, he asked
I don't know. Anthony might know. When's the last time they were in the Final Four?
the Final Four,
Yeah, when's the last time they're in?
probably when they
Wait a
won
minute.
it in 2013.
Wait a minute. No, Towns, remember? They were undefeated in the Final Four when Anthony
Oh,
Towns was in
Oh,
it,
yeah, that's right.
and they didn't win it.
And he had his best 2 guards sitting on the bench because he was playing those twins who couldn't
Right.
shoot.
Right.
And they
Guards.
were undefeated. He kept texting me all year, how do you keep this team focused? How do you keep doing this? I kept sending him all his John Wooden wisdoms. And then he goes, and when they lost, he asked me what my impression was. And I texted him, well, John, Coach Wooden, when he lost in 74, he felt like he had his best 2 guards sitting on the bench. That was
Right.
my answer. And his
Right.
best 2 guards were sitting on the bench because he was playing these twins. and he stuck with it. And, in the end, that team should have won it all. That team should have went undefeated, won it all. But they didn't. That whole year when they were undefeated, Rob, I was sending him, he was asking me all kinds of questions and I was giving him ideas. And I told him that one thing I told him was the two things you have to guard against was boredom and what was the other word I used? Boredom and
Complacent.
complacent. He went on ESPN and did a whole feature on those two things that I sent him.
Wow.
Wow. And he asked me about boredom. I said, boredom is when you're beating everybody every game, there's no more of a challenge. So you almost get bored and just go out and just play and you don't get motivated. I said, and then I explained to him the boredom part. And then I explained, the other part to him also.
Right.
And he's supposed to be a coach. Listen, we played them up in Oakland several years ago, I think in 06. He was coaching Memphis. We beat them 50-45. And they kicked our butts earlier in the year. I mean,
at the NIT, I was there.
Yeah, they kicked our butts. And I'm thinking there's no way in hell. And we're sharing the same hotel with them. Right. I'm thinking there's no way we're beating this team. There's no way. Mm-hmm. And he took the air out of the ball. That's the other thing he does. He takes the air. Listen, when he had Anthony Davis and won that title, he almost blew that game at the end. If you go back and review that game, they had that big lead. He started taking the air out of the ball. He almost lost that championship. And when he took that job, he asked Joe B. Hall, what's a good long run at Kentucky? And Joe B. Hall said, winning it all or not, 10 years, and you're going to be out of here, Right. And Joe B. Hall won one, and he was out in 10 years. Everybody followed Adolph Rupp, never went more than 10 years. Nobody has ever followed John Wooden at UCLA more than 10 years, and they were out. Only Jim Herrick won it, and we've only won one time since 75,
Well, what, it's funny. My other friend texted me last night, and, we used to watch the games all the time, and he's a big Knick fan. So I used to tell him, you guys can't win because you can't make your foul shots. And then that kicked over to Kentucky and Memphis and everywhere Cal's been. He doesn't teach foul shooting either. And last night, my friend sends me one text that I used to say to him all the time, I can't overemphasize the importance of a foul shot. And he put laughing out loud, and I started laughing back because, they lost last night, Kentucky, because they didn't hit their foul shots. And how many times do you see a Calipari team do it? No matter what team he's coached.
But how many times do you see a lot of teams in the tournament do it?
Yeah.
A lot of teams lose because they can't make their free throws.
Right.
Listen, when Jim Valvano won in the 80s, when he won with that run, he was behind dead in the water in every game. He went and started fouling these guys and put him on the free throw. And he was lucky enough to get the ball and go down and make baskets while they were missing free throws. He came back in every single game. And then he went and changed the rule because of it.
In 83,
Then they changed the rule back later on. But, you look at the games yesterday. How many teams lost on the free throw line? They missed 10 free throws, 12 free throws. Yeah. Today, Loyola of Chicago missed, in the beginning of the game, they missed like 15 free throws. And they couldn't throw a pea in the ocean being in the ocean.
Right.
Yeah, no, UVM could have beat Arkansas had they hit the free throws too.
Yeah.
Oh,
by the way, Virginia Tech's about to lose to Texas. There's a minute left. They're down 14.
Yeah, you know what? I think sometimes you pick on Texas because, like the coaches and stuff. But you know what? They've been playing pretty well. You got to give it to them,
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're winning that game. I thought they would lose. I think they weren't even point favored on that game. I don't think.
Yeah, I just had a feeling Virginia Tech was going to have that ACC tournament run hangover, and it appears to be playing out. I'm still surprised Miami won that game against USC.
Not me.
I don't know what that means for the Pac-12, but I'm not high on Miami, and they led the whole game.
But Rob, you know what? I told you they had Duke beat. The ref took the game away at the end, and they really did. I'm not even just saying it. There were phantom calls there. And when I saw that, I'm like, they're playing SC. And you know what? I said they don't have the center from last year. He's in the pros. I know they got the brother, but he's not as good as the one that went to the pros.
Well, here again, I'm very big on coaches, and I think this guy at SC can recruit, but he can't coach. He's a horrible coach.
Right.
I mean, Pac-12 had 3 teams in it. Now they got 2, and barely. I mean, UCLA should have
Barely.
lost. And believe me, if you take away that run UCLA had last year and look at Cronin's 3-year record, it hasn't gotten any better. He wins his 19, 20 games, but the guy, I think the guy is doing a good job recruiting, but he's not a great coach either. What did he do at Cincinnati? He had a lot of 20-win seasons, but he never went to the Final Four with Cincinnati. He never.
Oh, they were out of the first weekend pretty much every year.
That's right. Exactly. And they almost were out yesterday in the first round. And then last year, they were almost out in the playoff game.
So close.
Michigan State would have made their free throws. UCLA wouldn't have had that great run, So
well, Michigan State was up by 11.
Sorry,
in that
but
game
I'm big on coaching. I pick my coaches. Sometimes, even with a great coach, if you don't have enough talent, you're not going to win.
That's what I said. I mean, the coach can only do so much. They don't play. And I said Michigan State wasn't going to win. They didn't. And I got to tell you, Rob, the Jackrabbits jumped right over the fence because I know you were big on them, but I didn't think they were going to win, and they didn't.
Well, I mean, who thought Iowa was going to lose either? A lot of people, Iowa was a big Final Four pick for a lot of people.
Right.
And, they bowed out.
You know what I got to think? I got to say about that? I think Purdue's the best Big Ten team. I thought that the whole time. I don't care what happened. I just do. And they're still in it. I mean.
Yeah.
They had no problem with Yale.
Yeah, they didn't.
Of course. Yeah.
I know.
As soon as they get a good team, they're going to lose, because here again, they probably have the most depth. They have 2 centers. How many teams have 2 centers? They have every position. They have two people that are good. Painter can't win games. He can't win real games. He should have won. He should have won the Big Ten going away.
Well, I got to say one thing in defense of him, though. That year against Virginia, it took about 10 miracles for Virginia to win that game. It wasn't Painter's fault there. I mean, nothing. He just threw it up and it went in. Like, they were a really good team. The only thing that Purdue has trouble with is shooting foul shots, and that could come back to bite them. I mean, I don't know if it will, but it could.
I didn't see any games today. So,
right.
Rob, who else won, Rob?
So Notre Dame won again, and we all picked them to win that
Notre
game.
Notre Dame killed.
They dominated.
Yes, they did.
I'm surprised by this ACC show.
I'm not. And you know what, Rob? Again, the Big Ten's going to go by the way it looks. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're going to go. I know Ohio State won today, but
they didn't look very good in the team.
No, they didn't.
Loyola of Chicago, standing in the edge of the water, couldn't throw one in the water. They couldn't make anything. Free throws, they kept shooting threes instead of going in for layups. And that issue I have with everybody. A lot of times, if you make more layups, you're making points. You're going to beat teams, and teams have to shoot the three. And because everybody in the NBA shoots the three, and it's a mistake. It's a big mistake. A lot of teams are losing because they won't drive. They get a chance. The lane's wide open to make a 2, maybe even get fouled, and you get a 3-point that way. They'll throw it out and shoot a 3, and a guy misses.
That drives me crazy. If you have a layup, you take the layup.
It makes me sick. So Michigan State lost today?
They did. They lost last night, did they not?
Rob? Did they? Hold on, I'm going to verify that. But the Mountain West has shown itself to be a poor conference again. Colorado State losing, San Diego State losing.
Right.
They don't get it done when they get in the tournament. But you were asking about Michigan State?
Yeah.
So Michigan State plays tonight at 9:40 Eastern time. Yeah, they haven't played. They're playing Davidson. They're playing Davidson. I think Tony and I picked Michigan State, and you picked Davidson, Bob.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, and Joe Lunardi picked Davidson to win and then beat Duke in the next round.
Yeah, Duke's not going to win it all. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Well, but I don't see them losing the two. I do not see.
No, I'll tell you what. Kentucky did UCLA a favor because I believe they're in the same bracket, are they not?
They were, yeah.
Yeah,
They
well,
were.
right, were.
Huh.
But that loss is going to help UCLA. But I'll tell you what, it's Gonzaga that I'm worried about. UCLA is going to have a tough time beating them because they clubbed them. And Gonzaga could, I told you the other day, Gonzaga could win it all. You're like, Bob, I don't know about them on the phone. But I'm like, I don't know. They could. It's going to come down to them, Arizona. And
And
I
I
want to
told
see
you,
it. It's going to be a heck of a game.
Gonzaga, I mean, Arizona has 3 losses. They're 31 or 32-3. Okay. I mean, they'll win today. They ain't losing today. So they'll be 32-3. Rob, do you know that Gonzaga beat Arizona at Arizona this year?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know it either.
But I personally don't give a lot of early. That was a November game, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't invest a lot into November matchups, but I mean, still, that's a big time win for them.
Yeah, it could.
My concern for UCLA really is Baylor. I mean, I see that Baylor Bears on that
I was
bracket
gonna
Sweet
ask
16
you-
potential Sweet 16 matchup, and I think that
They had no problem the other day. That's only the
How did-
16
how did-
playing, but you're right. They're going to be hard out.
How
It'll be hard to
did,
beat.
how did Baylor look? I mean, I
Good.
didn't see them.
They killed them.
they
I know
dominated.
they killed them, but did they, I mean, they look like a team of last year where they can go inside, rebound, defend, and shoot outside.
That's a little hard to figure out because they're playing the 16, But
Yeah, I know.
anybody can do that against a 16.
Well, Kentucky
as a
didn't do
rule.
that against a 15.
Except Kentucky the other day.
Yeah, they didn't do
That
that.
was a 250. See, I don't think the twos are that good, Anth. I don't. I don't think I know Nova won today, but I don't think they're that good either.
I think
don't.
you got 2 or 3 teams now that are really good, and the rest of them, they have to play great every day. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Now, North Carolina won by 30 plus, so I don't know. I mean, again,
Right.
the ACC might be better than I thought it was, and the Big East is worse than people think it is. But that I was surprised to see them dominate like that.
But you know what? The next game they'll lay an egg because even the guys on the commentary said, or Charles Barkley said, and so did Kenny DeJet Smith said, North Carolina is like this. Okay, one day they're way up here and they play tremendously, and the next day they don't show up. So you can't rely on one game with Carolina because the next game they may not even show up.
Right.
I don't understand this team. I mean, I kind of think it kind of reminds me of when Lavin used to coach UCLA. He'd go beat the number 1 team in the country, and then the next game he'd go play System Area of the Poor and lose.
Yeah, he did that a few times.
Well, UNC's got Baylor next, so I mean, they're going to be. I mean, that's a test of might, and I mean, we all predicted Baylor to win that game.
Right. See, and here again, it's just going to be a great test to see if this is the real North Carolina team all year. You go in, you beat Duke, and then you go and you get your butt kicked in the next game.
Now,
Bob, I got to give you kudos for a very brave pick, impressive pick. New Mexico State over UConn. Well done, Bob. I'm very pleased to
I told you I didn't believe
right. I'm glad I
UConn.
got that wrong.
No, you know what? I'm actually out eating last night, and this guy sitting behind me, and he wanted to watch the game because he bet UConn. And I look back at him, I start talking. He's a nice guy. I go, they're not going to win. He goes, why do you think that? I go, because they can't shoot. I go, they can't shoot the ball. And sure as heck, they all of a sudden, they start catching up because, the other team just goes cold. And I go, it doesn't matter. And there was 12 minutes to go. I go, there's 12 minutes to go. And right now, UConn only has 35 points. If they keep going the way they're going, they're going to finish with around 60, give or take. He goes, you think so? I go, yeah. Because if you take an overtime, a team usually gets 10 points in overtime. So if you add another 5 minutes, that's 10 minutes. So it's 20 points and then 2.5. So yeah, that's like 25 points. You know what, Rob? They finish in the low 60s, I believe they had. What was their final score?
Final score was 70-63.
Yeah, there you go. Low 60s, 60 or thereabouts. And that's what happened. And the guy just looked at me and the guy gave points. So I'm like, how many points you give? He goes 6. I go, oh, you're going to lose. And you know what? He did, because I just didn't believe in them. I saw them play. Now, did Creighton pull their game out the other night? Or did they
Creighton
lose?
pulled it
They
out at the
won.
very end, and
Yeah.
Murray State pulled it out in overtime.
Right.
So
right.
Tony
And-
you were the only one to pick Murray State in that matchup, and Memphis also won.
Yeah, right. But you know what? I said it. Creighton almost had Villanova beat in the conference game, in the tournament, in the conference tournament game. The only reason they didn't, they missed like every single three they took. Well, I mean every three. Nobody misses every three. They pretty much did, and that game was close at the end. That's why I don't think Villanova is that good. And I think Creighton, if they make their threes, they can be a pain in the neck. Are they going to go super far? No. But are they pretty tough? Yeah, they are, and they can be. I did not believe in UConn. I'm sure you were overjoyed, Rob, right?
I mean, just have UConn and Kentucky both go down the same night, first
Right.
round opening match.
Right.
I'll take
Those
it.
are
And
good.
also,
Yeah.
remember the last time UConn played in Buffalo, 2014, I was there for those opening round games. They barely escaped St. Joseph's, and then they went on their run and won it all. So this was a nice recompense for me watching them flame out in the opening round, because I do not like their coach, Dan Hurley, at all either.
No, and I don't like their team. They're not that good anymore. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to see it. And all the teams I've said they're not that good, most of them are out. A few are still in, but most of them are out. And, Duke is still in, but they're not going to win it all. So I just don't believe it. I don't. And I don't know if they're going to make the Final Four. I got my doubts, to be honest with you.
And Brother Bob, Brother Joe, 70 today.
I know. Happy birthday, brother.
Mhm.
Happy birthday, Joe. I know it. That's our brother, Rob, our other brother.
Oh, the third Spino. How many more Spinos are there?
There's
a lot of
7.
brothers, right?
There's 7 Spinos
Sisters?
running around.
7?
Yeah.
All still kicking?
All still kicking.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
Yep.
Keep it going, ladies and gents. So
Okay.
Chattanooga jumped out on Illinois early. I mean, it's early, but they got a nice 9-point lead.
Well, they got a 9-point lead, you said?
Yeah,
You know
5
what?
minutes. It's early. 5 minutes in.
If
Big
Illinois
Ten's not
loses,
starting off
then
too
I
hot,
was
except for
right.
Purdue.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to hold up, but if it does, I was right. I think Purdue's the best team in that conference.
Well, Illinois is playing who?
Chattanooga.
I mean, it's very early. It's 15 minutes left. It's early. Chattanooga jumped down 12-3.
Mhm. No. Illinois is going to win that game. The Illinois coach is the best coach in the Big Ten. He's the best.
But St. Mary's blew out Indiana handily.
But
Yeah, they
gotta
did.
understand, this is the issue I had. And I had this issue with the committee. Okay. How can you make Indiana go and play in Dayton, Ohio? Okay. That's not a far cry from Indianapolis or Bloomington. Okay. But how do you ship them all the way to the West and expect them to play the day after? I mean, come on. I mean, his team was so tired. He played 10 guys and he played the 5 guys off the bench to give the guys a rest to try to save their legs. There was no way in hell they were going to win that game just from exhaustion of traveling that far. The committee did a really shitty job with that. They should have sent them closer into the East where they didn't have to travel 3,000 miles and play the next day. That was wrong. Absolutely wrong. They had no chance to win that game. None. They had to be dead on their feet. I don't care how hard they tried. You just take a look at that game and look at the way that Indiana was so tired they couldn't even get a shot up. I mean, they were so far behind that game. They were probably 30 points behind in that game at one time. I mean,
Oh yeah, it was a total blowout.
yeah.
Well, I was just listening to the end of the Notre Dame game because I turned it on a second ago, and they were saying they had the same problem. They had to fly all the way across the country, didn't get in till 4:30, and didn't get in the hotel till 5:15 in the morning. They had to play this game, but they blew out. Who did they play again? They blew them out. Texas Tech, right?
Yeah, Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. I mean, they kicked.
Well, I
their
mean,
tail.
that's a good point because 4 years ago, Syracuse played in the playing game. They won against Arizona State, but they only had to go to Detroit. So it was right there.
Right.
That was an easy turnaround. But
I mean,
yeah,
that's
I didn't even
exactly
consider
right.
the fact that I didn't even realize they got shipped that far. So yeah, they were doomed from the jump.
Exactly.
Right.
And I can't even believe that the committee could sit there and not see that. somebody on that committee could say, hey, wait a minute. We put them in this bracket. We're going to ship them all. I guess we don't really want them in the tournament, basically, is what they thought, because they set them up to lose. I mean, they set them up to lose. They had no chance to win that game. None.
And speaking of criticizing the committee, I've been totally the standard bearer for what you said about Michigan getting in, despite having a losing conference record. They had no business going in. Unfortunately, that's the one pick I got right that I wish I didn't get right. But I mean, did any other
Rob, who do
team
they
get
have in the
in with a
second
losing
round?
conference record that anyone's aware of? I don't know.
Unless they won the conference tournament, no, I don't believe so.
Well, they didn't win the conference tournament.
So who was sitting on that committee from Michigan? That's what I want to know.
In the Big Ten, yeah, I would be curious because they got
Sure,
taken
They have in
care
the
of.
next game.
I don't care how many quality wins they had this year. Their record stunk, and their coach should have been fired. And so why would you even put them in? And now they won a game. So now we got to see them again in the next game, which
Okay, who do they have in the next game, Rob?
So they just beat Colorado State again.
Right.
That conference has proven itself to just not be up to par. But they're playing Tennessee, who looked really good.
Tennessee will be.
There's a good, yeah. We all picked Tennessee to win the next game, anyways,
Yeah, Tennessee will
and
be.
they were completely dominant.
Right. The only thing that scares me about Tennessee is their coach Barnes. I still don't think he's a great coach, but they have better players and they're playing better. And I think their conference was actually a little stronger than the Big Ten, on the top part of their conference.
Yeah, the SEC
So-
was pretty solid at the top.
Right. And I don't know if you saw where Mississippi State fired Ben Allen. So
Yeah. I was
Oh, I didn't
hoping
know
old Ben
that.
would make NIT. I would have went to see him, but
well,
unfortunately,
now he's trying to get back to California. He's trying to get a job in the at University of San Diego. There's been rumors that he might be up for that job, and that's the same league with Gonzaga, Loyola Marymount, Santa Clara. That's the WAC, and BYU's in there. I'm not going to try to forget anybody, but that conference too. They have one team, two teams. But the one thing I will say, I did check out the Gonzaga game, and I got to tell you, that skinny kid, that 7'1" kid, he's going to be a hell of a player. He's
good now.
One good player.
yeah, he's really good now. Actually,
And the
He's-
thing that I like about him is he's got some savvy, and he's not afraid of anybody. And he'll even go up to the official and get in their face. A lot of freshmen won't do that, but this kid is really good. I got to say, and I like Timmy in the middle. I like him. I like what he's able to do. But this freshman just gives them a real center underneath, and he can block shots and run the floor. And
yeah,
in my mind, he's like a Kevin Durant because of the way he handles the ball outside and can shoot. But he's also kind of reminds me of Anthony Davis a little bit.
Bill Walton too.
And Bill
When he played at
Walton,
UCLA.
the way he passes, block shots, rebounds, gets down the floor. I mean, this kid is really good. I mean, with seeing him play now more than 6 times, you're right, Bob. They could win it all.
Yeah, they could. And
Arizona's
they're the one team that dominated. I mean, look, UCLA actually beat Arizona and was up by 10 in the tournament game. But when UCLA played Gonzaga, it wasn't even close. They mauled them start to finish. And I think they could win it all. But I think they're going to end up playing each other. I think it's going to be the Zags against University of Arizona. But of course, we're still rooting for them. But
Who is?
me.
Oh, okay. Let's
Yeah.
get that straight.
And
Yeah,
I'm on
so-
public record, so I need to root for them too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sir. How's our brackets going? Are we doing okay, Rob? Because I
So
couldn't get all three up.
So Bob and I are playing other brackets outside of the public record bracket that we did on the show, and one of them is in second place right now, Bob.
Is it
that's the
really?
one where we have Arizona winning the title.
And who's our final four in that?
You'd have to give
What do
me a
we pick?
moment to look that
Because
up,
we were on the phone and we were going
to
over
double
it.
check that. But by the way, Chattanooga is still up 10.
Wow.
Duke and
Wow.
CSUF is underway. Our Final Four for that one might be, I think Baylor's in that Final Four, but you're going to have to give me a moment to pull that up.
That's probably a good pick because Baylor's awful tough. So,
yeah, I think it was helpful to do a bracket where we had Baylor advancing because they're really good.
Right.
And
Well, yeah,
they're
that's what we
healthy-
said on the, huh?
And
Go
they're
ahead.
healthy again. They're healthy.
All of them are back.
Yeah.
Oh.
See,
But see, that's what we said on the phone when Rob and I were on the other day. We're like, we made some fun picks on the show, but this is for the money. So let's do what we're going to do. The team that maybe that we'd like to see win. No, forget about that. Let's pick the team we think is really going to win. And that's kind of what we did. You know what I'm saying?
The Final Four for that particular bracket for you and I, Bob, is we have
Yeah.
Duke and Baylor and Arizona and Kansas, with Baylor and Arizona playing in the final.
Okay. Kansas could go. Duke, I don't know.
We did do a goofball bracket, and that's not doing too well. We picked a bunch of upsets and things like
Right.
that.
Okay, that's fine. But Duke, I'm not so sure. Duke is in which bracket? Are they in the East? No, they're in the South, right?
Duke is in the West, actually,
They are. Okay.
as the 2 seed.
Okay.
So if they win, it's a good chance they're going to run into Gonzaga.
Kentucky was in the 2 seed with
And
us.
one of
in
our
the East,
Final
right?
Fours does have Gonzaga in it.
Good. Okay. Now Kentucky
You know,
was in the East. They're the 2 seed in the East, right? Or were before they lost.
Kentucky was the 2 seed, and publicly Tony and I had them going to the Sweet 16. You had them losing to Purdue in the next round.
Yeah. See, I didn't believe in them.
I'm sorry, scratch that. I think we had them in the Elite Eight and losing, and you had them go to the Sweet 16, Bob.
Yeah. Well, see, but I didn't trust them though. But they did us all a favor. I mean, they didn't do me a favor, but they got knocked out pretty darn quick. So they didn't even get to 32. So I didn't believe in them, Rob. That's the bottom line, It just didn't. And I've seen these teams. And you know what's funny, Rob? I really only had to see them once or twice. Because after watching Gonzaga destroy us, I knew. And after watching Duke play Kentucky in that national televised game, I'm like, Duke is better. But at the same time, Kentucky was in it right down to the end. And I'm like, both of them are not the same that they once were. And both of them could be taken. Turned out Duke won that night, which is, I figured that. But I noticed that was at Madison Square Garden that game. Both of them could have lost that game, and both of them were not that good. So it doesn't take long for me to see it. I'm just glad UCLA pulled out the game they pulled out.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get a feel for Duke, honestly. I don't.
Yeah.
Especially, I was pretty certain Miami would lose. I was kind of, even though I picked Notre Dame, I wouldn't have been shocked to see them lose. But there they go, UNC blowout win. So I don't know. I mean, we have Duke going far in all our brackets, so an early departure would hurt us.
Mm-hmm. Right. What do you think, Anth?
I think that if this was the Tony Spino show, it would really go.
Yeah, I do too. And that's why we want to change the name and that way you can actually talk around for us.
Hi, Bobby.
But the thing is, do we call
Hi,
it
Sandy.
the Bob and Tony Spino show or the Tony and Bob Spino show? Who gets the name first? So
I'll be
really
off.
that's really what the debate is all about.
I'll be totally off. I thought about this, Rob. If you were wearing this hat, you'd look really sharp. If this hat, no.
Or we could just call it the Rob and Spino show or something. I mean,
Yeah, the
right. Right.
Spino Bros.
Spino Bros. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah.
We'll have to brainstorm the new name. But stay tuned,
Yes.
folks. There's a distinct possibility the show's going to make a change here.
Yes. So what do you think? Yeah. What do you think about the upcoming games, and what do you think about the game so far? Really, I mean, You think Duke is going to keep winning?
You know, if UCLA plays the way they did against St. Mary's will beat them.
I think St. Mary's is going to give them a hard time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. If they shoot lousy, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they scored a lot of points the other day.
Yeah, St. Mary's is a good team, and they're well coached. And they're going to be really motivated being from Northern California to knock off the big bad Bruins. So, you know, I think it's going to have a lot of motivation. They're going to be really pumped up if they're making their shots. They really have a good point guard. I mean, they have some really good players, and those kids play hard. You know, they beat Gonzaga this year. Not many teams have done that, you know.
No.
And I know it was at St. Mary's, and I understand the home field advantage. I mean, I get it. But still, the fact is, they beat them, and they give them a real hard time in the conference championship game. Gonzaga didn't blow them out, if you remember. It was a
you know what?
game.
That may be the only team that didn't blow out, because even the other day, I mean, in the beginning of the second half, they were losing Gonzaga. And all of a sudden, as bad as they played and as lousy as they shot, you know, I'll tell you what, Few made a great adjustment. They were taking threes in the first half. Second half, he's like, you know what? Their best player, their center, just blew his knee out. Let's just pound it down low. And that's exactly what they did.
Well,
and they couldn't stop them. And they scored 92 points.
Rob, if you look at all of Gonzaga's games, and I saw them 6 times this year. I don't usually watch anybody that much, but every game close at halftime.
Even this game, even the 16 seed, it was close in the first half.
Right. Okay. But my point is 10 minutes on in the second half, it's like they turn it up a notch and they just blow you out. I mean, they can instantly score 10 points before you can blink an eye. And even in games that they didn't blow you out, they beat you by 10 or more. They just don't, I mean, they just pull away and you can't even get close to them. I mean,
Right.
you know, this is a different Gonzaga team than the ones he's had in the past. And he's starting now to recruit really 5-star number 1 players.
I was just about to say, their recruiting is, you know, all these years of success, a lock for a 1 seed, a lock for the Final Four recently. Right. I mean, I'm looking at their scores as you've been talking, Tony, and they got a lot of blowouts. I mean, they've just slaughtered teams.
Yeah. You know, people think, okay, they got to go up to BYU. BYU's decent. They're going to have a tough time. They just go up there and blow them out by 25. It's not even close, you know.
Blew out Texas Tech.
Yeah.
They did. And that's what I'm concerned about. Once they get a lead, you're not going to beat them. And it seems like no one is even, like, I know a couple of years ago, Anthony, you thought that center was really good and they were going to do it. And I didn't. But this time, yeah, this could be it. You know, because I always say,
and
I'll believe them when I see it with them.
The 3 guards who have been coming in, 3 black kids, are really good. And when they're on, it's over, because that kid, Holmgren, you go inside with him and he's not afraid to go up there and block your shot. And most of the time, he doesn't even have to jump. He just has to stick his arm up there and swat the ball away.
Right.
You know, or he'll grab that rebound and throw that outlet pass, and they're sprinting down the court for an open layup. I mean,
you know what, Anth? The guards can actually guard you tight, because they know even if they get beat, the center's waiting for them to block the shot.
Yeah, Timmy and Holmgren are back there. You know, like Henry Bibby said, I had Bill Walton back there. I didn't have to worry.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I mean, this team is, you know, and I would be very happy for Mark Few. This guy's been there a long time.
Yeah, he's great.
He's had a lot of good teams. He's been offered the UCLA job and many jobs, and he won't leave there. Okay. He just has to quit drinking when he drives. Other than that, he's a really good coach.
Oh, he's top.
You know what, too? Also, Gonzaga's got to let John Stockton come back to the games. It was terrible. They kicked him out because he wasn't wearing a mask. That's just ridiculous. He's John Stockton. What are you doing? And you know, I mean, I you know, that's just crazy. I mean, that's just nuts.
But I'm sure they'll come around on that, Bob.
You know, I'm
they
not
better.
sure I picked in any of my 3 or 4 brackets. I have to go. I'm not sure I picked Gonzaga to win it all. I had them in the finals against Arizona, but
you didn't put him there at all.
I don't know if I had him as the champion. I think I give it to almost Arizona almost every time.
They're tough.
Yeah.
Look, you know what? I think it's going to be a heck of a game because it's going to be the second time they played, first of all. And
And now you
they
got
both have big centers. Two of them. Both have big centers.
right.
So,
Well, that's true. And you have a first-year head coach who was his assistant for 20 years. So you
Yeah.
know the media is going to play that up.
you're going to play that game. Yep.
Huge. That's
Sure.
going to be huge. There's going to be more attention on that than on the players and the team. Yeah.
Right. Right. I mean, I can't see those two teams. I think Arizona plays tonight. Am I right?
Yeah.
If
If
they
they
play
lose,
tonight.
if they lose tonight, I'm quitting.
Oh.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
Duke,
right.
it's all yours.
Right. No, it's not all theirs because then it's all Gonzaga's.
I
Mm,
mean, we all have publicly, we all have Gonzaga going to Elite Eight at least.
right. Right. I've even put them in brackets, you know, and I guess ESPN.
We have one of our brackets, Bob. We have Gonzaga in the Final Four.
They do. Okay.
I think maybe two brackets we have Gonzaga in the Final Four.
Okay. Yeah. Right. They're good. I mean, to me, of all the teams I've seen, they're the ones that scare me the most. You know.
Well, they dominated UCLA in that early game. Duke actually beat
Yeah.
them.
They killed them.
And
Br-
on the
the
show
Bruins were
here,
never
we
in the
all
game,
picked
Rob.
Duke to win that Elite Eight game.
Right. You know what? Duke can't beat them because they've got guards. Because Duke's only a 2.5 man team, and none of them are centers. And I got to say that over the last couple of years, K really hasn't. He's gotten guards, and he's gotten forwards, but he really hasn't gotten any dominant center, and that's probably why he hasn't won in the last few years. And for all the recruiting he does, and he does great with it, he didn't do it this year either. Those guys are forwards. They're not centers, and it's hurting them. And then, of course, you know, the other years, you know, Kyrie left early, Tatum left early, but, you know, they didn't have
Well, and when
centers.
they
He hasn't had them in a
when
while.
they had a center, they could have won it if Elton Brand didn't break his foot.
If who didn't break his foot?
Elton Brand.
Oh, well, that was a while back. Yeah.
But still, I mean, if he had not broken his foot, Duke would have won.
They would have won. Absolutely.
They
Elton was
were-
he was a great pro, let alone a college player.
Well, that's right. And he's probably one
Yeah.
of Duke's best players of all time in the pro.
Yeah, that's right. And they don't talk about him all that much.
Yeah, he was a superstar.
Yeah, he was.
But Duke got one back in 2010 after Rinzio Nwaku's Syracuse center was injured, derailing our 2010 run. We were the best team in the country.
When's the last time
Easy.
Duke won it? What year? was
And
it,
that
Rob?
gave Butler their little duo of runs as Duke took them out in the
Right.
championship.
Right. When's the last year Duke actually won it? Was that the last year?
No, I believe Duke won within the past 8 years, I think.
I thought it was
Right.
2016.
26, something like that. Yeah, relatively recently.
Right. Not for them, though. Not for them. That's kind of a dry spell for them.
Yeah. Well, how many years has it been?
It's hard to win that
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah.
Tournament's hard.
How
I
many,
know it is.
how many years has it been since that hat you got on F1?
I don't know, Anthony, you were the trainer. Why don't you tell me?
1995.
95. Even I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what?
And the
But
Pac-12
for him-
is 25 years ago. Only 2 years after, what was it, Lou Olson, Arizona?
Right. Lou
Right.
Olson, Arizona. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what, though? Kentucky won the in-between year in 96 because that was at the Meadowlands. I went there.
2015, the Duke won that title.
I was close. What did I say?
Well, right there,
16.
one
Yeah.
off.
That's
Right.
7 years, though, Rob, if they don't win.
But they
this
haven't been
year.
to the Final Four since.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. They've been getting really good players. And sometimes they were even, blue chippers, 5-star, but they weren't good enough. And with everybody else leaving so early, and now even the Duke players are doing that,
Well,
couldn't
you got to
maintain it.
remember that after he won it, Rob, he had a great class coming in, and they all stayed 1 year, and he left, and he said, "I'm not recruiting the one and dones anymore." So he
Right.
went several years without recruiting the one and dones, and so that's probably why he never won it again. But he would love to have an all senior team. But just think, if these three kids come back next year to Duke, okay, and with the class they got coming in, you can put your money on Duke next year, right now, to win it all.
I'll take that bet. I'm not so sure. Different coach, you don't know. Different coach,
Yeah, no, I know.
you don't know.
but I'm just saying, if Krzyzewski was to come back, these kids would stay, and he would bring in another class. With the class they got coming in, I mean, he'd walk away with it. Yeah. But here again, I'm big on coaches too, and he ain't going to be around anymore. So
That's right.
you know,
And look, I mean, Carolina, you can, I mean, they're winning now, but they don't even look the same. There was times they were looking lousy this year with Hubert Davis as a coach. Am I right?
well, yeah, Tuca went in there and beat him by 30.
Right. Right.
You know,
Now, who won the conference during the regular season? Did
Duke.
Duke win it?
Duke.
Okay. And they didn't
Duke
win
won the regular
conference.
season, and then Virginia Tech won the conference tournament title.
Right.
And until Duke lost that season finale game at home to North Carolina, they had been blowing teams out.
Right.
Now, they didn't win. Virginia Tech lost today, did they not?
Yeah, Texas beat them.
Texas beat them, right?
And I'm not surprised. I wasn't impressed with Virginia Tech when I saw them play, and they remind me of 2006 Syracuse. Went on that run, 4 games in a row, got it done, and then flamed out right off the bat.
But they beat Duke in that conference game, that conference tournament game. They killed them. They killed them.
Yeah, they dominated, and
Yeah,
then
they did.
that happens. You get that hangover that that peak emotional experience with winning that conference tournament title, and then bam, you're right back. You're right into the tournament mode again. I think that might have been a play here, but maybe Texas is pretty damn good. I don't know.
What do you think,
Rob, I don't think so. I just think, like you said, Texas Tech got hot in that tournament. They almost lost the very first game. They had to hit a shot at the end to win. They got the momentum. They just felt like they were unbeatable. They ran through that tournament. Then after the party and the celebration, then they came down, and then they went into the NCAA thinking they were going to do the same thing, but somebody else had a different idea.
Virginia Tech as a program has no history of NCAA tournament success, even with Buzz Williams. They're not a basketball school.
Right.
That's why Butch kept leaving from job to job. He was at Marquette. He didn't succeed. He was at this one. He didn't succeed.
And he was a lot closer with Marquette, though. I mean, we beat him in the Elite Eight in 2013. He didn't have anywhere near the success he had at Marquette. He didn't have anywhere near the amount of success at Virginia Tech that he had at Marquette.
Hello?
He's got a call, folks.
I'm on the other.
So yeah, no, Tony's taking a phone call, but we're gonna.
Yes, somebody's calling him actually. No. Look, I mean, how do you see tonight's games, Rob?
So right now, Chattanooga is still in a dominant position. They're up by 10
Really?
still, 6.5 to go. Duke's lead's been chipped a little bit. They're up by 7, 10 to go. I just put you on mute, Tony, while your phone was going. There should be a button to unmute. There should be something to hit to unmute yourself that popped up.
Ball back. So yeah,
We
There
got
you
it.
go. You're back.
You're back.
So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, is there anything else you gentlemen want to talk about besides the tournament? Because we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon.
How about baseball?
So yeah, I'll just give you my opinion on the remaining slate here. Arizona's already jumping on Wright State, 6-point game already. We got Iowa State, LSU, UAB, Houston, Davidson, Michigan State, Colgate, Wisconsin, TCU, Seton Hall. The Davidson, Michigan State game is intriguing to me. I wouldn't be surprised to see Davidson win, even though
you're changing up a little bit, Rob?
I'm not high in the Big
I
Ten.
went with
Bob.
Davidson.
I'm not high in the Big Ten at all. Even with the Izzo factor, I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. They're not that good. I saw them play early in the year. I told the kid not to bet him. He bet him and he lost.
And I'm wondering if Colgate does give Wisconsin a scare. I think they'll give them a scare. I still think Wisconsin wins, but I think it's going to be a scare for them.
well, you know why? Because they both slow the ball down. I mean, they both take the air out of the ball because, I mean, Colgate has no athleticism at all. They have to grind it out. Wisconsin slows the game down. And they'll beat you. They have a really good player in Davis, but all of their games come down to the last 2 and 3 minutes. and Wisconsin's been making their shots. But think about it. Wisconsin had a chance to win the Big Ten outright at home. The last game of the season, they had to beat lowly Nebraska, who didn't even make the NIT, and lost at home. So, you know,
When you don't score, you have to keep the other team in the game. And the longer they stay in the game, the more they think they can win.
Well, that's right. And I totally agree with Rob on the fact that the Big Ten, it stinks.
Right.
I mean, it's just not that good. And I'm telling you.
Well, that's what I said the other day. And you said that was last year. It's not last year because they're still stinking.
And if you look at Illinois, they finished, I believe, second in the league. Okay.
Right.
And you had an Iowa team that went off and won the conference tournament and lost their first game. So, I mean, how long is it going to be before all the Big Ten schools are out? Boom, boom. As soon as Purdue has a tough team to play, they're going to lose. You know, I don't believe in them, and I totally agree with Rob. The Big Ten is so overrated, but I will say the best coach in that conference is the Illinois coach. I saw him coach at Stephen F. Austin, and he went down there and down to San Diego, and he was playing. Let's see, they played
a bunch of big teams they beat. I remember when Stephen F. went off.
Yeah, well, they went and played UCLA and lost by a couple of points.
Right,
right. Yeah, did they beat Kansas? Did Stephen F. Austin beat Kansas that year?
I think
something like that.
I think it was Kansas, and then they took UCLA to the wire.
The last shot, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, shit, and I went to Stephen F. Austin because my daughter was in the same league with Sam Houston State. They went to play them for the conference championship game, and they got their ass blown out, Sam Houston. And then Sam Houston played them in the conference championship game. Okay. I went to that. I went to the coach and said, the only way you're going to beat these guys is you got to completely change your offense. You got to show them something that they cannot adjust to. Because if you don't, you have no chance of beating them.
Right.
Said, you have a chance to keep the game close to half, but they'll blow your doors out. They blew their doors out. They went to the NCAA. This guy went to the NCAA tournament like 4 years in a row before he got the Illinois job. This guy can flat out coach.
Yeah, Stephen. They were a fixture for a while with him there.
Yeah,
right.
And they were a 14 seed in that when they went on that run. They beat West Virginia in the opening round.
Right.
Let me tell you, when Larry Brown tells me that guy's a great coach, he's a great coach because Larry Brown knows who can coach and who can't.
We're still trying to get Larry. After the season, we're going to get Larry on. We had a mix-up in the beginning of the year.
And I keep telling you, Memphis will go a long way as long as Larry Brown's the co-head coach.
Well, they
can Memphis give Gonzaga a battle in the next game?
Yes.
You think
Larry
that?
Brown, because Larry
the
Brown,
coaching wise, I just don't think they have the personnel.
No,
and you got to remember, Few's a good coach too.
That's not the question Rob asked. Rob asked, can they give Gonzaga a good game? And I said, Larry Brown will figure out a way to give them the run for their money. Because you got to remember one thing.
I don't agree. That was my answer.
Nobody goes through this tournament and beats everyone by 20 points every game.
Well, I know. But see, but the answer to the question, Rob, I don't think it can happen because they just don't have the personnel to stay with Gonzaga. I just think Gonzaga will kill them. That was my answer.
Well, they may not kill them to the second half.
Yeah, and they may, because I think they're too good.
Well, I didn't say they were going to beat them, and Rob didn't say they were going to beat them.
No, I didn't say you said that. He just asked, can they give them a game? I don't believe they can. That was my answer. That's it.
Well, this is going to be a YouTube short, the brothers banter. It's going.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Chattanooga is still holding a 10-point lead over Illinois. 4.5 to go.
Wow.
First half.
Chattanooga is my new favorite team.
Over who?
Oh yeah, I'm all Illinois. In on the Big Ten going down in flames.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the one weakness that Illinois has, they have a center in the middle. He's a monster. But the one weakness they have is their outside shooting isn't that good. and they won. I believe, finished second in the league. I think they were tied in the Big Ten for the league. They tied with Wisconsin, and Wisconsin must have beat them or something because they got number one and Illinois got number two in the league. Yeah.
Now,
And
Rob, what's their shooting from three in this game? Are they shooting lousy? Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe that's
So
why they're losing.
we only have one amongst the three of us. Tony and I are missing one Elite Eight team, and that's Kentucky that everyone lost on.
Right.
You did not have Kentucky, Bob. You had Purdue. So as I go into the Chattanooga, Illinois stats here, I'm looking at a situation where Chattanooga is 2 of 5 from 3, shooting 39%.
Right. That's 40.
But Illinois is 6 of 13 for 3 free throws. Only 46%
That's
at
terrible.
that free throw line.
That's terrible.
I mean, that's it's a 9-point lead. So there you go. There's the game right now.
Right. Okay. Right. They're missing their foul shots.
They're missing the free
Again,
throws.
it came back to what we said in the beginning. You got to make them. I mean, how many times teams lose because they don't? It wouldn't shock me in this tournament. Illinois should come back.
The rebound, Illinois only has a single rebounding edge. And that's only coming with one extra offensive rebound.
Wow.
Illinois is turning it over a lot. 5 steals for Chattanooga, 6 turnovers total for Illinois, 1 for Chattanooga.
Wow.
But the fouls are piling up for Chattanooga, so we'll see if this holds.
Well, and it's just like UCLA game, if Akron's best player didn't foul out, UCLA would be on their way home.
It was looking like that. I mean, I texted Bob. I was like, it's a good thing we had an alternate bracket here because it wasn't. It looked like the UCLA run was going to get blown up.
Right. Hey, you know what, Rob? It's cheap win, but I'll take it because that's what you got to do. You got to win.
Well, I mean, look what happened last time they scraped by. They went on a run. Right. So they seem to be a team that feeds off momentum, and if they can build the momentum, they should be okay.
They should, yeah. I don't think they'll shoot as bad in the next game. If they do, they're out. I mean, probably out anyway. But you know what? If you're gonna shoot bad, do it in the first round. Do it in the first game, because you're usually playing a team that's not that good, so you can get by. So
any closing thoughts about the tournament before we kind of move on to our final topic, whatever that may be, baseball or NBA?
Right.
I got nothing. I think our brackets are looking pretty good overall, the 3 of us publicly.
That's okay. Okay. And privately, we're doing good on our.
Well, like I said, privately, we're in second in one pool, so that's
great.
Good thing.
That's great.
Let's hope that holds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wanted to get in that bracket with you guys, but
we sent you it. We did. Rob sent it.
I never got it. I don't know if you give them the wrong email address or what. I never got it.
No, I gave it. What was the email you sent it to, Rob? You want to play it back?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give Tony's email over the air, so I gave Mike the email you gave me, and he sent the email again. I mean, maybe it went to the spam folder. I don't know why the email didn't go through, because years ago he sent that to you.
When you sent me, it didn't go to my spam. It came right to me. But send me individuals, like each bracket separately, so I can get them. Because my Dropbox is picking up everything and it won't let it go. I had Brian Winter's numbers. It sucked it right up there, and I can't get it. I don't know what's going on with this stupid computer. But just send them again.
So yeah, I mean, there you have it. I'll send you our private brackets, Bob. And again, if any one of us, any one of you, anyone watching wants to see our public brackets that we did on the show, go to the selection show video. In the description is an individual link to each one of our brackets.
Okay. Right. Okay, you want to talk a little baseball, Anth?
Well, looks like the Dodgers are going to be in a World Series for the fourth.
Oh man, they got Freeman
for the 4th time in 5 years or 6 years.
Yeah, the Mets did some things, and I do like this owner, but he didn't get the grade A players. I wanted Chris Bryant. They could have went after Freeman. They can go after Correa. He still he's not been signed. The Yankees ain't getting there. Anybody Yankee fan that's listening, you are getting nothing. You know what? George is not here no more. The son is not like the father. He doesn't want to spend. That guy, that kind of guy, owns the Mets now. The Dodgers never wanted to spend, but all of a sudden they're doing it. So as long as they're doing it.
But the Mets management is just as stupid as it was under the other owner. They need players. They need hitters. They ain't getting them. They just
the truth is they didn't really get rid of a lot of people from the other owner. That's kind of true. But I just think that they could have had Freeman. They didn't bother. They could have had Bryant. They didn't bother. The three guys they got from Oakland, they're good, but they're not power hitters. I want power hitters. That's how you win. That's how the Yankees won 27 times. From Ruth on down. Money, power. You know what? Money, the real money ball is this. Spend your money on the ball team. Do not get chintzy. Do not become the Oakland A's. Do not become the Twins. Do not, not give out that money. Because like you said, Ian, the guy's going to go where the money is. And that's like that in every sport, and you know what? The Mets are doing that now, but they got to do it better. They got to get better players, maybe even better people to have an idea who's good to sign, even when he's not a big name. They're going to be good, but the Dodgers, they got the biggest steal. And the Braves didn't take care of Freeman. They didn't. They traded for Matt Olson, who had a hip problem. That's why he wasn't hitting home runs last year for a while. I just like what the Dodgers did. And they actually tweaked they got a couple of really good starters now. So it's going to be hard to beat. Question is, middle relief and closing still a little iffy. But if you can hit good enough, you can come around that. You can just like Babe Ruth said, and the Washington Senator player in 1926, how come you can't beat the Yankees? And the Senator player went, because we score 9 and Ruth and the Yankees score 10 every game. That's why we can't. Just get more hitting, like George Steinbrenner used to say. And the Yankees ain't doing that. So any Yankee fan, you can blame Cashman all you want. He did inherit the team. Bob Watson and Gene Michael did it. But it was about George. He was there the whole time. He was the man that ran it all. And he was the reason they won. Because he spent money. He wasn't afraid. And you don't have that now. So the reality is the Yankees ain't winning anytime soon. And being a Met fan, I'm kind of glad of that. But you know what? Don't go around thinking, how come we didn't buy this one? How come we didn't get that one? And somebody on Twitter goes, remember when we bought it in 2009? Yeah, I do. I remember when you bought it in 96, 97, 98. And you were buying it in the early 70s, 77, 78.
You remember Murderers Row in 27.
Well, but Rupert was buying it when they stole away. And I'll tell you what, Ruth wasn't the only one they took. They took some of the pitchers, Wade Hoyt and some of the great stars off the Red Sox with them. And they even took the general manager with them to the Yankees, and they just kept winning.
They took the manager.
Yeah, they took the GM too. And you know what? That's why they won. Rupert was a bootlegger. He had more money than everybody else because of it, and he wasn't afraid to buy. He wanted to win. And he bought Ruth out for a play. And it was them the whole way having money all those years.
Yeah, but
he even bought DiMaggio from the West Coast.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. The Yankee fans, the Mets ain't going nowhere either.
Well, I don't know with this owner yet. That's not going to last much longer. If this guy really does what he's supposed to do. Because
I don't know, Bob. You've been kind of touting the Mets for the past couple of years, and it's just been the usual.
Well, that's because Wilpon was there. Last year was the first year. So I'm going to give him a year because Steinbrenner's first year, he did nothing. He even said, I'm a hands-off guy. Yeah, that lasted a year and a half. Tops. But you know what? I do think he's going to do it. But he's got to get the players, the best players. Not just these guys that are pretty good. You know what? I think it's ironic because now the Yankees are like, oh, we were in on Correa. We were on Freeman. You know what? That's what the Mets used to say with Wilpon. You know how many people they used to get? None. And that's what the Yankees are getting now. None. Because they really weren't in on it with any of these players.
Well, the Mets.
They said Freddie Freeman didn't take the Yankees serious. That's what they said. That's what they said. He admitted it. So you know what? No, they're done. And, it's easy to go to the game and see the pinstripe and still think they're they're destined to win or it's their divine right. It's not. You have to earn it, and because it's all a money world, you have to buy it. It was great. And I told the guy on Twitter, I go, you were the one telling me about your homegrowns in the 90s. I go, I don't want to hear it. I go, you did have homegrowns, the 4 of them, but you know what? Without getting O'Neal, without getting Clemens, without getting Jimmy Key, without getting David Wells, without getting any of the power hitters you got through the years, you don't win, homegrowns or not. Jeter was great. Those guys are great, but you wouldn't have enough around them. You don't win. It was always the extra guys Steinbrenner got through those years. And you know what? The last time the Yankees won was at the end of that year, is the year Steinbrenner died. How ironic. And now they're signing back guys like Gardner, who, he's a pain in the neck. He's a good player. But that's what the Mets used to do. They would sign back their bad players every year. And you know what? No, they're done. And I really want to hear from the Yankee fans because I've been waiting for this, and I'll let you have it because you let me have it. You are done. That's it.
Well, I wouldn't start picking on the Yankee fans until the Mets prove you right. And as far as I'm concerned,
well, no,
I don't care what kind of owner they got. They ain't spending the money to buy the best players.
Well, yeah, they're going to be. They got Scherzer. He's a good player. He's a great player. He's stolen from the Dodgers.
Over the hill. He's over the hill.
Yeah. So maybe the Dodgers should have kept him, and that would have kept you in fits. That would have upset you a little. But you know what? No, he's a good player. He's not over the hill. I'll take him. And he's only there for 2 years, which was fine. I'm a little well, no, I could see Freeman getting 6. Chris got 7. Why the Rockies did it, I don't know.
And you don't need a shortstop, so you're not getting Correa from Houston.
Correa?
Yeah, you're not getting him.
Yeah,
Why would you
know
need
what?
him?
He could play the outfield. He could. Or we can move our shortstop. You know what we need? We need a catcher. The Mets should have been hiring a catcher because James McCann's not very good. But they really need a catcher. They should be looking for one.
Well,
I really believe that.
I think you need a third baseman. I think you need some power in the outfield. I think you got some good.
But that's what the Mets were saying they were getting with these guys from Oakland. But these guys aren't that power. They don't have no power. What did Oakland ever do? So, I mean, I want power hitters, and the Mets didn't get them. So, are they going to be good, better than they were? Yeah. And you know what? Can you imagine if Syndergaard stayed? What the pitching staff would have looked like? With DeGrom? You know what I'm saying?
If they all stay healthy, it'd be quite a pitching staff.
That's right.
But
now I'm hearing the Angels want to trade DeGrom Syndergaard.
Pitching is great, but if you can't hit, you can't win.
That's what I told you. And for years, you never believed me. And I kept saying hitting. I learned it from your team. The Orioles could hit. That's why they won when we were little. You guys could hit. Everybody in that lineup hit. See, because when I was little, the Yankees weren't very good, but the Orioles were.
I had Don Buford, my leadoff hitter. He had 35 home runs.
Right.
My leadoff hitter.
Right.
Left fielder.
And they could run, so they could steal Paul Blair. Those guys could get on base.
Sure.
Yeah. But I learned it.
Because
you did have 420 game winners, but you know what? You also had guys that could hit. Your pitchers could hit. Palmer was a great hitter. Cuellar was a great hitter. So,
So was Frank Robinson and Brooks Robinson.
They were great, period.
Yeah.
And Brooks was a great fielder.
Yeah.
He's got the most gold gloves for a third baseman ever to this day.
I know.
But think about it. Even the Reds, right? After you guys went down, the Reds went up. What could they do? They weren't a great pitching staff, but they could hit. It's all about, and then the Yankees in the late 70s, Steinbrenner realized that we just need more hitting. That's what he said. And he got it. He got Jackson. He got all these guys that could hit. And they won it. So
the Dodgers are going to win 100 games hands down again.
Easy. Because you know what? The Giants are going to do nothing.
Right.
And the Rockies, okay. They signed Chris Bryant, but why? They're not very good. Right. And the Padres, they can't get out of their own way. They're a joke.
Yeah. Who's the dark horse? Who's the team that people are going to pay attention to that are going to make a run?
That's a good question.
American League or National?
Either or, both.
Okay. Wow.
Anthony?
I got to say, I got to take a look. I haven't exactly been at spring training every day, so I don't know right now. I mean, the dark horse. Boy, in American League, I would have to say maybe Cleveland.
I'm saying the Mariners, and here's why. They've been slowly making these trades, getting these good players. They took our 5-star everything that we drafted out of college, and now the guy's really starting to play great. I mean, the Mets should have never traded him for that closer, never. And watch out for the Mariners. They're going to be pretty good. They're going to be pretty good.
Well,
National League?
that'll make our friend Scott happy, Bob. The
Scott,
Mariners to make a move.
Yeah, right.
And
Our friend that we went to the All-Star game with, big Mariner fan. So
and
that'll
watch-
make him happy.
And watch out for the Angels, because I don't know if you know, Rob, but the Angels had 38 picks in the draft. You know how many pitchers they picked? 38.
Yeah, because they had
They
none.
didn't go after any position players. They spent all 38 picks on pitchers because they have no pitching, and they got to find, if you do 38 guys, 2 or 3 of them got to turn out to be good. Come on.
I gotta say, I'm not surprised to hear there's promise for the Angels, given the fact that we did have Tim Mead and Mike Scioscia come on the show, and the show
Right.
seems to have that extra little blessing to it. The Bucks got players came on and they took it all. UCLA went on the run, so yeah, I'd like to see the Angels, get back into the mix of things.
They have a good manager in Joe Madden. They have, if Rondon can stay healthy, if Mike Trout can have a good year and stay healthy, they got some good fielders and hitters. They just had no pitching at all.
No, they didn't.
Bob could have pitched for them. That's how
Yeah,
bad they were.
as sore as I am. No, that's true. They really didn't. Look, if you're getting 38 pitchers, it's pretty obvious you don't got any if you're drafting that many.
Right.
So, I mean, but I still think Seattle's going to be the dark horse in the American National League. Wow. I don't know. Like, I guess you'd say the Mets, because everybody's thinking the Braves are going to repeat. But without Freddie Freeman, I don't see that. I don't know.
What about the
Cardinals
Red
are
Sox? Are
always
they going to
right
be
there,
good
of
this year?
course.
Seems like they're
Huh?
always good now. The Red Sox.
Who's that?
The Red Sox. Are they going to be good?
The Red Sox? Well, they are good. I don't know if they're a dark horse. They're just good right now.
Tampa
I
Bay.
think,
Tampa Bay's good.
yeah, they're good, but they're not a dark horse either because
They've been
they
knocking
keep
on the
going to
door.
playoffs every year.
Toronto.
Sure.
If I was to pick a dark horse in the
Toronto.
American League, Toronto.
Toronto, that's a good pick. Yeah, yep. And they're still stacking. They're trying to get big names. They're trying to get Correa. So, but yeah, maybe them because they can hit. See, the thing about them, they can't pitch either. They got problems with their pitching. But in the National League, the Cardinals are always right there. They can
Cardinals
cause us
are
a
always
problem.
good.
Yep, they are.
That
And-
organization has never had a season where they've lost 100 games in the season. They're always in the thick of things.
Yeah.
They're never an easy out, never.
I can't even say like Milwaukee's supposed to win, so I can't say them. And the Cubs, I don't think are good enough. But maybe the Mets would be, because everybody thinks the Braves are going to win a division. So you would think it. I mean, that would be the pick.
Sorry, Bob. I have no faith in the Mets. Just
I
none.
have no faith in the Mets either.
It's prove it otherwise at this point when it comes to that team.
I don't know
No,
anybody
no.
who could grow up and become a Met fan. I just don't know.
Well, I
mean,
always had the Celtics to ease my pain because they used to win all the time.
When you got the Yankees right there in your face, right next door, and you're rooting for the Mets, there's something wrong with your thinking all those years.
Well, it's not. No. Hey, the reason I did it was because when I was little,
Have the Mets ever won the World Series?
yeah,
Long
they beat
time
the
ago.
Orioles. Remember that? 69, they killed you. Yeah, that was great. You're an almighty team. That's why that's why they call them the Amazing Mets. You guys were favored to win. You didn't. And then you did win the next year, and then you lost to the Pirates after that. You should have won a lot more, and you know it.
Well, I always said they had a terrible manager. They had great players.
Right. Oh, they did. They did. They
As
won
long as a
109
New
games
York
about
team
3
gets
years in a
in, that's
row.
all I care about. A New York team needs to win baseball, period.
Right.
Well, that right now that won't be the Yankees because they're not
Go,
there.
go Yankees.
Right.
You want me to hold up
Right.
my Jeter jersey?
You got to bring. Did you get one from the Hall? I picked up for my father-in-law a Jeter Hall of Fame jersey, so I'll have to find that and
We're trying to
him.
get Jeter on,
Let me
and
let
if
him
Vance
have
can
him.
help
Let me
us in any
borrow
way,
that for a
would-
show.
Yeah, we're trying to
Rob,
get him on for a sports show,
I got
or a baseball show.
a Jeter jersey and he signed it. He signed the number
Perfect.
2.
Right.
Yep.
And we're going to try to get him on. We're going to do a baseball show, hopefully next week, next Friday. So we're going to work that. And if you can help in any way, yeah, that would be appreciated. And because we want you back for that show because it's baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. We need
Yeah, we do.
need you back for baseball, Tony. I
We need him
definitely
back,
slack when it
period.
comes to the
And-
baseball world.
Yes,
And,
and when all your stars call you, please throw in. Yeah, Bob's show's pretty good, and Rob's pretty good. So let's do this. We need all the help we can get. We really need people to watch. So
Right.
you know,
I just think you need to tweak the title. If my name is up there,
The sports show with Tony Spino.
hey, you know what? If that's what it's going to take to put the show over, yeah, we need. Tell him, Rob, because you didn't listen to
We
me.
can call it sports in Timbuktu for all I care. If we get Derek Jeter on,
That's right.
Call it whatever you want.
But we need him to help us along because he knows a lot of people. We need people to watch. Tell him, Rob. Tell him.
It's all about the
Rob.
contemporary famous stars. But
That's right, see.
It wouldn't be a name change wouldn't be difficult. Just tweak the logo a little bit, a little graphic shifts. It's not a
Yeah,
problem.
no big-
you can't put Derek Jeter on with Mike Socia.
Okay,
Mike Socia-
off limits. Keep them away from each other.
Right, because Mike Socia hates the Yankees. Listen, when I bring Coach Wooden down here to an Angel game, and we went over to the Yankee clubhouse, Mike would get pretty chapped over that.
Well, actually, if you caught it when we did the big show, he said it on the show.
Right?
Because at first you were over on the other side. That kind of bothered me. Did you notice he said that?
Oh yeah,
Remember he said it?
yeah.
He did say it.
I know. Well, I already knew it because
But you know what though, Anthony?
I invited him to come to Coach Wooden's condominium where he lived. He said, "I'm not going there to see all that Yankee stuff." And I said, "There is no Yankee stuff."
Right.
I said, "You need to go." Mike didn't. He didn't go. He never went. He loved him at the ballpark, but he wouldn't go to his. And he used to drive right by his condo every day to come home. And he wouldn't go. And he
Right.
said, "I don't want to see all that Yankee stuff." Hey, Coach, Mike.
Well, we wanted to bring everybody on for baseball and also to see you because we want to do another follow-up show to that big one. And it would be great if everybody baseball's on one day, basketball's on another time. So I mean,
Well, I mean, if
But
I
no
can get-
nemesis. Keep the
If I
nemesis
can get, if I can
separate.
get Joe Torre on, then
right.
I can get Derek. Then we can get Derek Jeter on.
Yeah, but yeah, well, that's what I said. You need to contact Tori then because you got his contact. So unless you want me to ask Socia to talk to Tori to talk to Jeter, and then we can get everybody on different days.
You can do that. I don't mind.
Right.
You
Right. But we need the breakout star. I know Nigel's going to bring on, he told us on the show, he's going to bring on Michael Jordan. Last time I talked to you, it's a little hard. I've been trying to reach out, but he's also doing another White Man Can't Jump movie. So, but he goes, once May comes, he's going to be freed
Yeah,
up.
we'll definitely coordinate, future guests offline. But
Yeah,
so
we
kind of
will.
closing up, is there anything you want to talk about the NBA before we go?
My Celtics are doing really well, and I'm really happy. The Nets are going to go nowhere. Kyrie, and by the way, they're not letting Kyrie play. They said they got 2 play-in games because they're like now the 8th seed, I believe. They would have to play the first game at home. They would get it at home, but he's not allowed to play at home. Then the second game, they'd have to go to Toronto, where he's also not allowed to play because they don't let anybody play that doesn't have a shot there. Knock it off, basketball, please. It's ridiculous. Okay? I'm saying it on my own show. Knock it off. And now they're doing it to Aaron Judge. He's not allowed to play, Rob. He's not going to be allowed to play. He can't play any home game for the future, for a foreseeable future. And when they go to Toronto, he's not allowed to play there either. And half the Met team can't either. With the Mets, it's no big deal. But but yeah, it's wrong and it needs to stop. And even
Well, I thought the mandates were ending though in New York.
no, not with this.
I don't know,
Private
Bob.
club.
I don't know.
That's what the mayor said.
Okay, well, private club. I mean, then it's up to the organization.
No, he said private clubs are not allowed to do it. That was his edict.
Okay, I haven't
Isn't it
followed
funny?
New York City
Kings used
politics
to make
since I
edicts.
moved
Now
out of
mayors
there.
are doing it. And they're not supposed to in this country. But anyway, no, he's not allowed to play. I know the Yankees are talking to the mayor. They said it. And I don't blame them. I hope the Yankees win this one. There's one time I'm rooting for the Yanks. But maybe the only time. But you know what? It's ridiculous and it needs to stop. And even Anthony said it to me on the phone. He goes, even in California, they're not doing that now. I know. But this guy, he's like, I'm the new Biden. Really? Sorry to hear that. There's good doctors for you to get you out of that problem. But no, it's not fair. It's not fair to the Yankees. It's not fair to Aaron Judge. And yeah, I think this is interesting. One of the things they agreed on in the when they came to the agreement and stopped the lockout, they said that you're not allowed to keep players down in the farm that long anymore, kind of like Cashman did with Aaron Judge. How about that? I think that's a good thing. Don't you?
I think it's a great thing. It's a great thing. If a guy's ready to play, bring him up.
Right.
Yankees would have won if they brought Judge up. They would have won another.
They kept him down too long. Yep.
They would have won another World Series if they brought him up.
And I heard they're going back on their original pledge, and they want to put people on base in the extra innings again, on second base. And I got something to say about that. Don't. It's a perfect game. Leave it alone. You don't have a better idea. The game was designed the right way. Stop it. Nobody should be allowed. Hey, if you know what? That's why I have issues with the DH. You want to bat, you play the field. That's what they taught us when we were little kids. And of all things, they would have never put a guy on second base in extra innings. That's ridiculous. So that needs to stop. And I don't know what genius came up with it, but they ought to fire that guy because it was a dumb idea.
Well, Mike Scioscia came on the show and talked about different ways they could reduce the length of time, the delay, the ads, and things like that. But I think that's stupid too.
It's a stupid idea. And who cares about delaying it? We love baseball. So what if it goes extra innings? Screw that. That's what fans love. We used to love them when we were in high school. We'd come home, the Mets and Yankees playing on the West Coast. We had something to watch late at night. Because we could actually watch it. We didn't have to go to bed. Why are you trying to rush things like that? It's just, it bothers me. They're just ruining a great game, and it sickens me, really. What do you think, Anth?
Well, I think the next thing they're going to be doing is going to have some guy stand at home plate, and the guy's going to get a hit, and the other guy's going to run for him.
Yeah, I can see that. Yep, I can see that. Well, now they want robot umpires. How about that? They want well, so maybe that's not such a bad idea with some of these and refs. But it's terrible what they're doing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Leave the game alone.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the games. Gentlemen, is there anything else to add before we wrap it up?
Yeah. Watch our shows in Cooperstown, Anth. We had a great time up there.
So I'll just leave you two with this. You two brainstorm an idea for a new name for the show, and we'll make it happen.
Got it.
Something catchy, something sounds good. You know the drill.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
That sounds good.
And we'll be back here on Fridays as usual.
And Bob, thanks for not picking on me today.
Oh, yeah. Well, I felt I had to. I was going too hard, Yeah. I was going too hard. But we had to clean that up. And if you can put on the unedited version, even if I do get ripped pretty bad, can you put that up? Because
yeah,
keep both versions up.
I'll throw the whole thing up.
Okay,
it's not a problem.
Appreciate that. Okay, but everybody loved that show, and I'm not kidding. Even Tom, our friend Tom.
Yeah, that bumped the subscriber count. We got a bunch of subscribers through that series of episodes.
I know. And,
about 30 more from that.
Every day. I'm hitting out the cards every day. So, we just want people to watch. So
that's it.
I think we have a pretty fair show.
So there you have it, folks. We've kind of made our predictions for the rest of the round, and Thanks for coming back on, Tony.
No,
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
I'm starting to enjoy this because
Thank you.
it's nice to be sitting here with two legends like you guys.
No, you're the legend. And
Legends in our own minds.
no, he's a legend for real. And you know what, Rob, is there any update on the Chattanooga game?
It's halftime. Chattanooga's up by 4,
it's
33-29. Duke's up by 10. Arizona's up by 16.
Yeah, see, they're gonna, yeah, right. They're gonna have no problem.
I think
There you have it, folks.
I think Bob picked UCLA to win it all. I think.
Oh,
Bob,
I got on that bandwagon
did.
too, Tony. I got on that
Oh,
bandwagon
okay.
too. Yeah.
We need them to go far in our pool.
We're
because even
riding the UCLA train all the way.
right.
Yeah, if they get in the Final Four, that's great because we picked them. The Final Four is almost just as important as winning it all. Am I right, Rob?
Yeah, you want to get if the more
No, in
Sweet
this
Six-
pool it is.
second round, the first 2 rounds aren't as important. You want as many of the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final Four finals picks as you can get.
Right.
And we've kind of set it up where we can miss out on some of the early round stuff, but still have a pretty good Sweet 16 and beyond.
Right. But anyway, the way they're playing, I just think they're going to finally run out of luck and they're not going to win. They may even win the next game with St. Mary's, but I don't know if they can beat North Carolina or Baylor, to be
It
honest.
just doesn't seem
Yeah,
like
the Baylor game is my
they're
biggest
playing
concern.
together like they did last year.
No.
There's too much one-on-one.
And they're not getting along like they did last year.
I mean, that could be. That could be.
Because Juzak and the other guy, I can't pronounce his name, I always forget. Now the other guy's become the star, not Juzak.
And
And
all you got to do is pass the ball and win. Everybody's a star when you win. They forget that.
I don't see them being cohesive as they were last year. And now
No, I don't either. That bothers me.
And now he's trying to give more guys because he brought in 3 more players. He's trying to keep those freshmen from leaving, transferring into protocol, or he's trying to get them more minutes. So he's trying to keep everybody happy instead of saying, you know what, you guys are on the bench and you guys are playing, and I'm only substituting 1 or 2 guys. Now he's substituting 8 or a total of 8 guys and shifting them around. And I mean, Juzak, he's been shooting terrible in the last 5 or 6 games. He was in a triple overtime game at Arizona State, or a double overtime. They go overtime, Rob. The guy goes 0 for 8.
Yeah, Arizona State's not that good.
Arizona
No.
State's a joke.
Yeah, they're bad.
And this guy goes 0 for 8. Something wrong here. Something's going on. I've been to too many benches and too many locker rooms. I know the difference in team chemistry, sacrificing for each other, and winning. Teams that win it all are teams that they don't care if Rob gets 50 points and Bob gets 10 points and Bob gets
How did I know I was getting 10?
and Bob gets 15 rebounds or assists and I get 20 rebounds, and nobody cares because you win. But when the egos start getting involved and people say, well, I got to get mine because I ain't going to get to the next level if I don't get mine, then you become individuals. And I think this team has become individual. Too much individualism and not a team player. That's my.
Yeah.
So I don't see them going much farther than the next game. It wouldn't have surprised me if they had lost last night. It wouldn't even surprise me if they lose to St. Mary's.
Right.
Because St. Mary's is the team who doesn't care. They want to win. UCLA, and they got a lot to go for because, like I said, they're from California. And, everybody looks at that league as being below the Pac-12. That would really give that league and St. Mary's something to put in their cap forever that we beat the big bad Bruins.
Right. Hey, they're pretty good. Do they have a big center?
Yeah.
St. Mary's?
Yeah.
Yeah, St. Mary's is a tough out. UCLA has to play better if they're going to win this game.
Oh yeah, they can't be.
They
First of all,
won't.
they gotta get more than-
They'll lose by double digits if they play like they did against that.
That's right. I mean, they have to get. They only had 55, 58 points last night, 57 points.
Yeah, 57.
They're going to have to do a lot better than that.
And
A
here
lot better
again,
than that.
it's very hard to win the national title when you're scoring in the 50s and 60s.
Right.
Yeah, you're probably not
You
going.
can't do it. You can't do it.
It happens like once in like 25 times.
Right.
Yeah, unless you're Virginia and you have 3 straight miracle finishes to get it.
Yeah,
done.
right.
Exactly.
Luckiest
One against
championship
Purdue.
ever, by the way.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Here they take the air out of the ball because they don't have the athletes that the other teams have. They have a really good coach. The year before they lose 1-16. You talk about a 2 and a 5 with Kentucky. They were a 1. They lost to a 16 in the first round, the first time ever. The next year, the man comes back and wins the national title and saves his job and really saves his face because he lost only coach ever to lose to a 16 team.
Yeah, and they shouldn't have been in the Final Four. They needed They literally needed 3 consecutive miracle endings to win that title.
Yeah.
I've never
And one
seen
of them-
anything like that Virginia championship.
Right.
And one of them was Purdue. Purdue had them beat, and you know it, Rob.
Yeah, Purdue had them. That
Yeah.
game was over. They
They
should have
had
lost. They had no business winning that title. It's gross.
Right. I mean, I'm happy for them, and I really like Tony Bennett.
Bennett, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if you know it, but the singer Tony Bennett is his godfather.
Wow.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know his dad was a pretty good coach too. I think at
That
high
was a
school
very
ranks.
good coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was he was a great coach in high school in Wisconsin and mid-major at Wisconsin and then the University of Wisconsin in Madison. Yeah. His dad was a very, very good coach and coached the same way. He coached exactly the same way. He had teams to take the air out of the ball. He didn't get all the athletes and, all of the top physical athletes that all the other schools got, but he would grind them down and he always was in the game. And somehow at the end, his guys made free throws and he always won the games. His dad, Dick Bennett, was an excellent coach. Yeah.
Hey, Rob, how far did we have Illinois going in our bracket?
Public bracket,
No.
they're trailing by 6 in the second half. In the public bracket, I had Illinois losing the second game to Houston, and
Mhm.
you guys had Illinois playing Arizona in the Sweet 16 and losing.
Okay.
Then what about our number 2 bracket? The one in second place.
The number 2 bracket that is currently
Yeah.
second place right now. In that bracket, we have them losing to Houston in the second round in the number 2 in the bracket that's in second place right now.
If they make it to the second round.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't kill us if they lose because we don't have them in Sweet 16.
That wouldn't kill us.
So I do have to go, gentlemen. It was great having the two of you on. I love the brothers banter. I think, Tony, you add a tremendous element to the show, and I hope you continue to come on and join us. And
Well, I really enjoy it, and thanks for having me. And Brother Bob, thanks for not picking on me today. It was really nice of you.
That's what brothers are for.
Yeah,
not teasing.
Okay, Rob, you want to do your thing?
but as long as
Close?
Bob, as long as you're a Met fan, you're a loser.
Yeah. All I know is 1969, we won, Orioles didn't. You know how that goes. You know how that turned out. 109 wins 3 years in a row, and you only won one time.
And you also cursed the Knicks, Bob, and it's played out.
I
ever
did
since.
curse the Knicks. He's a Knicks fan, by the way. Tony's a Knicks fan.
Sorry, Tony, you're not. It's over. Even Henry Bibby said on the tribute show, it's not
He
happening.
did say it. He did say it. Yeah.
Yeah,
He did.
They're so far away, it's not even funny. And they had so many chances with Patrick Ewing to win it all, and
Yeah.
they just never got it done.
Well, Jordan was there, though.
That's
Was
because
Jordan.
the guy in the blue cap is always cursing them. So
Well, wait a
That's it.
minute.
putting the jinx on them. Yeah.
Was Bibby on the team that won it last in '73 when they won it? He was on that
Yes,
team,
he was.
there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was.
Now, was he on the '83 team with Moses Malone when they won it? Was he a backup
Yes.
guard?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Mhm.
So he won too. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah,
great
he
at
was-
UCLA. We know that.
Yeah. He was on.
And his
with,
son
the
was
guy
good
who-
too. Mike was a good player.
Mike was good.
Yeah. He was on with. Full.
Right. Right.
With
Moses Malone. Right. Moses
Well,
Malone.
he played with Billy Cunningham and all those guys.
Right. Right.
They were a real good Sixer team. They were really good.
I know it.
I think
They were great.
They had.
You had to be great to sweep the Lakers back then,
and
and he did.
And I think Mo Cheeks was on that team.
Yup, he was.
he and Henry were real close because, wherever he got a job, Henry was always an assistant with him.
Right.
And he
Henry
ended
was
up-
Henry was head coach at USC for a while.
Oh
right?
yeah, a long time. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. He had a
Right.
good run there for a while.
Yeah, they were solid when he was there. I remember that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob, you want to close it?
There it is. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Signing off for the sports show with Bob and Tony Spino. This is Rob. Take care, folks.
Good night, everybody.
you.
This is Bob.
Thank you.